Animação para filmes e jogos no Canadá. Eu não sei se você sabe, mas diversos filmes são feitos no Canadá e, teoricamente, se passam em outros lugares do mundo. Diversas empresas, entre as maiores empresas do mundo de vídeos, também ficam aqui no Canadá. E para conversar sobre esse assunto, eu trouxe aqui o nosso querido Christian, da Kaplan University, que é considerado uma das melhores universidades da América do Norte e, quem sabe, do mundo, quando o assunto é ilustração, gaming, filmes, né? Agora, vou te pedir um desafio. Ele vai conversar com a gente em inglês, porque se você está pensando em vir para o Canadá, você tem que virar essa chavezinha para o inglês. Então, agora é uma maneira de você aprender sobre esse mercado de trabalho e também praticar um pouquinho o seu inglês. Hello, Christian, how are you? My friend,
hello, Francisco.
Oh, you're not mute anymore.
Yeah, hello, Francisco. Thank you so much for having me. I'm great. I'm very happy to be here with you and to talk about all of the opportunities that the animation industry has here in Vancouver.
Yeah, no, it's amazing how hard it is to get in this field, right? Not in the field, but to get the education, right, Christian? And because it's something that there's a lot of people trying to enter, and you have to be good, like drawing good and have a nice portfolio to be accepted in a course. I remember like we were like we were the first one to have students from Latin America accepted at Capilano. It was an honor to have that, right? So it's a hard course to get in, but the job opportunities is amazing. The salaries are amazing as well, right? So it's an honor to have institutions such as Capilano talking about this. This is a great deal about Canada, right?
Yes, I mean, we're very proud of our animation program. It's one of the best animation programs, as you said, in North America. So we're very, very proud of that one.
Yeah, if you don't know, Vancouver is considered the Hollywood of the North. So here we have a bunch of the biggest studios in the world. The biggest movie producers here is Lionsgate, right? So we have a lot of movies happening in Canada. So when you talk about illustration and animation for movies, you have one of the biggest places to be. It's Canada. And when we're talking about gaming as well, just to have to give a perspective, EA Sports, it's here in Vancouver, right? In the Greater Vancouver, it's in Burnaby, right? So it's here in the Greater Vancouver area. So you're getting yourself into a pool of opportunities when you come to Canada to study in animation, and it doesn't matter if it's for films or for the gaming industry, right, Christian?
Yes, there are so many companies here, animation companies, film studios, and they do a lot of projects all the time. So it's a very busy industry for sure.
Yeah. It's funny if you go to YouTube and look for a video called "Vancouver Never Play Itself." That's a funny video, right? That show how many movies that Vancouver have been in, but it says it's New York, it's Chicago, whatever. But it's Vancouver, right?
Yes, and it's very funny when you're in the street and sometimes you see the city dressed up as something else, or sometimes you see what they pretend to look like the stairs of the subway in New York, or police cars from San Francisco or taxis from Boston. So it's really interesting when and sometimes even now in the summertime, sometimes you see when they're filming Christmas movies and then you pass by in the middle of July and then you see Christmas decoration in a street.
So in the middle of the summer, yeah. I remember they were shooting not only for film and for gaming, for advertisement. I remember that once I was living in 3RA in the middle of the summer. So our street, it was a very sunny day. It was dressed like winter. They had fake snow everywhere, and rocks everywhere. They were shooting an ad for a Jeep, talking about the urban jungle and things like that. So they were putting the city, the jungle in the middle of the city. It's amazing. Almost every day you go out, the summertime here, they're shooting a new movie, right?
Yes, yeah, there is. Yeah, it's so common to, yeah, to just be in the street and then yeah, just pass by somewhere and then yeah, they're filming a TV show, a movie, a commercial, a music video. So it's just, and then sometimes like you just like you even see famous people in the streets or in restaurants. Even at my gym, I see John Cena goes to my gym. He's been filming Suicide Squad, so it's kind of funny to see a celebrity at the place where I go to the gym. So it's just like and it's just like sometimes you don't really believe it. You're like, oh, he looks like John Cena, and then later I find out that it's him.
That's the everyday reality in Vancouver, right?
Yes. Yes.
So when we talk about growing in this industry, Christian, it's something that it's like the entertainment industry doesn't stop, right? It grows and grows. And when we talk about Vancouver, you're talking about one of the biggest hubs in the world for film and for gaming, right?
Yes, for gaming, yeah, like animation in general. It is Vancouver has a huge advantage for this industry is because of the location. We are very close to the United States, so like we're very close to the border, just 40 minutes away. For people in Hollywood, we are just 3 hours away from Hollywood, so usually it's very easy for people from LA, for actors, and from them to come here and then go back to LA. Like if they're filming something here, they can go back on the weekend and be with their families. Also, we have the same time zone, so it's not complicated for them, because if they're filming something, if they need to make a phone call, or if somebody's in LA and needs to communicate with somebody here, we are in the exact same time zone. So it's not like they have to wait for us to wake up, or we have to wait, or like if they finish working then people here don't have anything to like, or can't find solutions. So it's it's very conveniently located because of that. And the other thing, I don't know if you know this, Francisco, but British Columbia can actually play any American state. So you can go. Yeah, so you can like I've seen Vancouver being Los Angeles or like San Francisco, something like they dress it as Miami because we're next to the ocean. New York, and then also we're very close to the mountains, so they also like on like beautiful forests. So you can make it look like a lot of places in like close to Squamish and if you go to the Okanagan, then we also have some desert, so you can make it look like Arizona. So you can do a lot of things here in British Columbia. It's very surprising how much the landscape changes in BC. So I mean, like as somebody who's thinking to come to here, you will love it. It's beautiful and it's just like a very diverse place. It's not usually you see the same pictures, but there is actually much more than what you can imagine. And because of that, you can do so many projects here. And the other thing is Canada has a cheaper production costs because we use the Canadian dollar. So it's really cheap for Americans to come here. So like for them to pay for accommodation, for food, for rentals, and all these things.
They get a 30% discount right away, right? Just for coming, just for showing up, because the Canadian dollar is basically 30% less than the American dollar, right?
Exactly. So they can pay a little bit less. So like salaries are a little bit less. So like it's cheaper for them to pay salaries here. So there are lots of benefits for Americans in terms of like in economic terms. And then also the government of British Columbia, it's also always trying to encourage the film industry to continue filming here. So they also give them a lot of like some, I think like they give them some tax benefits and some incentives so they can continue bringing productions here to British Columbia. So it's that's why we keep it busy.
Yeah. So talking about the requirements to get in the job, in the work field in this area of animation, Christian, do you believe it's the main requirements that you have like to get a job in like in animation, either film or gaming?
I think I'm gonna say that there are two basic requirements. One of them is, of course, you're gonna have to have the talent. So just to come to Capilano, you're going to have the talent to be able to draw, and for us to be able to teach you, we're not going to be And like when you go to study film, we have a program called Motion Picture Arts. We don't require a portfolio because we assume that we're gonna teach you everything from the beginning. But when you come to animation, like there are things that we cannot teach you that you need to know how to do. So you need to be able how to draw a hand, how to draw a face. Like we cannot teach you those basic things. We expect that you know already the basics. So basically, you don't have the talent. So to show the talent, you're going to have to show a portfolio to come to Capilano and then to get a job later. And then Capilano usually helps you to build your portfolio. Basically, what you're doing with Capilano when you're studying animation is building a portfolio so you can go and work in the so you can show what you can do. So that's the main thing. But there is also something that is very important when you're working in the film industry, and I think that Brazilians usually don't have this problem. And it is the attitude. You need to be able to work as a group. You need to be friendly. You need to be able to, be able to solve problems in a professional manner. And I think that's the other thing. So like they don't care just about your talent. You could draw amazing things, but if you're a difficult person to work with, they might not be so interested to have you. So and usually when we are accepting students, we look for those two things. We look for your portfolio, and then we also do an interview to make sure that you're going to be able to work as a group and that you are not going to be a difficult person. So those are two things that people are looking in the
to be an artist with a good attitude.
Exactly.
So let me ask you something. I remember the once I was visiting Capilano and to see the school of animation and so on. You guys have an amazing building for that.
Yes.
Like the Bossa building. That's out of this world. Your jaw drops. You're talking about the biggest studio, like in a college or university in Canada, and one of the biggest studios in North America inside of educational institution, right? Like even the American schools, the schools from Los Angeles, they remove the hat for Capilano. So you have an idea, right?
Yes.
And I remember that the employment rate for animation was like almost 100%.
Yes. So the thing with animation is, I think animation has a really interesting story because it's really nice because the program started small. So usually we cannot accept more students than what we can fit because each student gets their own desk. And we actually have our studios based on what the studios look like in Disney and Pixar. So that way, so like you get your own. You get your own station, and that's gonna be the station for the year. So that's why you cannot we cannot accept more students because if we only had at the time when you and I met for the first time, Francisco, we used to accept 23 students per year. Now we increase the number. Now we accept 55 students per year. But still, so that means that we have 55 computers, we have 55 stations, and that's all we can accept. So one of the nice things about this is that the students get to have that experience of like what it's like to work in a studio, like what it's like to be like in a real life studio, and this is where they spend most of their time because they cannot take the stations home. They take them to like the students usually stay there until the evening. They do homework, sometimes they spend the night. So it's like I call it the campus that never sleeps. Yeah, because
that's an industry that never sleeps, right? The movie industry, it's an industry that people work like in crazy hours, right? And then suddenly they take like 6-month vacation, right? And then while they are in projects, they are working like crazy, right?
Yes, yeah, because they have deadlines, they have to meet budgets. So it is very, it's a very strict industry. It's very time consuming. So now in terms of employment, so like as I said, like so the students are very tired because they spend a lot of time together. Like sometimes like 24/7. Like basically have enough time to sleep and then continue working. So usually the students get very attached to each other. So that kind of creates a really good network. When in the terms of when they're looking for like later when they start looking for jobs, and then the students that graduated, like we started our animation program back in the 90s. So we have students that graduated back in the 90s that are like in higher positions now. So I know, like I don't know if they did it this year. I'm not sure last year they didn't do it because of COVID. But usually our director from the animation program, he organizes a barbecue with previous students and with current students. So they get to know each other. And then a lot of them, because it is an industry that is very close. So a lot of people get to know each other, people who get to, so they usually, in many cases, they make the connections in that barbecue where they can connect with people that are already working in the industry. We also organize an industry night, or something that we call grad show. So the students actually show what they do, like they show their work, and we have a special hours for our students to only show it to people in the industry. And later it's going to be open to public, family, friends, so anybody can go see it. But then they actually have a space for people in the industry to come and see their work. And so basically what we've seen is that students, when they finish the program, like even before they finish the program, they already have some jobs lined up, because we already made sure that they made all the networking, that they know where to go. And because so many of our students are already working basically in every single animation studio here in the city, like or teachers or people in the department, they have contacts.
I remember when I went to Capilano, you were showing me around, like in the Bossa building, and we're talking about the case that the student that was applying for the program, he came with his father. His father was in the industry, and when he looked at the equipment that you guys had at Capilano, he's like, whoa, that's exactly what we use for Hollywood movies, right? And even like in the summer, you guys rent some of those equipments for Hollywood, right? Because the summer here, usually the school is not in section, but it's when Hollywood is really filming, right? Like usually it's in the summer. So the equipment is so good. It's so into like exactly what they're using right now in the industry, which helps a lot for the student to transition from the study part of his life to the working part of his life, right? So
Yes.
that is amazing, right? So so this connection that we're talking about, Christian, one thing that I noticed when I visit Capilano at the animation school, that I remember that I saw the computers, really nice computers, right? But then I saw a boarding for every student, because, and you explained to me, in their life, in the work, they're going to be drawing in the computer, but they're going to be drawing in paper as well, right? So that got me like even in all this digital world, you still have the drawing boards for people to pick up a pen and and draw whatever they have to draw in, like not in digital, but in the paper, right?
Yeah, so that's one thing that copies, especially when you're doing 2D animation. For 3D animation, not so much, but for 2D animation, you really you need to start. We're gonna be working from the basics. So you're gonna be drawing. We wanna make sure that you can, because one thing that is very interesting about animation is that you have to, like, when you're drawing something, you have to draw it several times. You have to make the same drawing a lot of times doing different things, but it still has to look the same. So that's one of the things that is very challenging in terms of animation. So you need to be very good at that. You need to be able to draw the same, because I like, when I'm not a drawer, so whenever I try to draw something, I cannot draw the same thing again.
Yeah, my friend. I wish I had that talent, because the salaries are really good for that job field, right? So talking about salaries, Christian, what is the basic salary when the student, let's say, leaves Capilano, enters the job work, right? What they are looking for?
Okay, so usually the average salary, so like a decent salary, will be around 55,000, 60,000. There are, of course, usually when you're starting, you will be getting an entry-level salary. So usually that one is around 45,000. And then, but I mean, like as you progress, your salary could go up to like 80,000.
I have a so for you that is watching us to understand, here in Canada we use a lot salary by year. So when we talk about $60,000, $55,000, it's by year, right? It's not by month, because in Brazil we don't speak by month, right?
Exactly. How do you do it in Brazil? Is it per month? You say how much
per
you make
month.
per month?
We say like $5,000 a month, something like that.
Okay.
So there is a story about I remember, like back in 2012, when we start to work with Capilano. Our first student, he studied tourism at Capilano. I remember that I went there to pick up his Halloween. Capilano at 3IA is the first Brazilian agency to work with Capilano, right? And I remember this student, when he was graduating, we were talking. He became my friend. We used to go ski and snowboard together. He's like, you don't have idea what the animation, the film, like it is like. He's like, he had a Chinese friend at the Capilano. She was doing the animation program. He said that she was amazing drawing. He's like, I would be in the bus stop with her. She could draw me all around. Like she was on my side. She would draw me, like, I think, pictures of me all around, all around me and things like that. She was amazing. Yeah. She was getting, Christian, this is his words, not my words, okay? She was getting offers of $100,000 a year after she was leaving Capilano. And she was not taking. She said to him that she knew that she could get more because that's the film industry, right? And I was like, wow, that's a lot. But he said that she was an amazing drawer. So I believe that, like, depending on your talent, things can go.
Yes, I mean, like, I guess it's like when you're an actor too, right? So, like, if you hire me to act, you're probably not gonna pay me very much. But if you get Meryl Streep, then I'm sure that you're gonna have to pay a lot of money. So it's gonna be like that.
That's the movie industry, right? A bad salary is better than, like, most salaries, like, any other industry, right?
Yeah. So I mean, like, when you can do a lot of amazing, and the thing is, as you build your portfolio, you get your reputation. Because we have students too from the animation department that actually have won the Oscars. We have one of our students was the lead animator for Zootopia. So we have an Oscar winner in our alumni, and I'm sure that he doesn't make the average salary. I'm sure he's making way more than that. So because if you can get Oscars, if you can, like, for Disney, I'm sure that he's making a
little bit of a better salary.
Yeah. Even 100,000 seems like a very little for him.
We have today a lot of Brazilians working in the film industry and game industry here in Canada, which I'm very proud of. Like, there's a lot of Brazilians working at EA, and they help make the video game, the soccer video game, and everything, right? So it's the FIFA video game, and I see them. I have them on Instagram and so on. I see them, like, working with those clothes that they use to make video games and so on. So that's an industry that Brazilians can, because we are very creative. We know how to have a good relationship with people. So that's an amazing opportunity if you have the talent for that here in Vancouver, right, Christian?
Yes, I think yes, as you said, like Brazilians are very friendly, so that's usually a huge plus. Like, just the personality, the culture of Brazilians is very, like, friendly. It's really, like, nice to be around Brazilians most of the times. So it's really nice. And then so if you have the talent, that's basically, like, the little bit that you have to get there. And then I think that another thing to think about too is that, like, when we come to Canada, sometimes we not all of us have the same levels of English. And so like, that's another one. Like, you don't have to have. I mean, like, you have to have the level of English to get accepted into the university, but you don't have to have a level of English to write very complicated essays. Like, as long as you can communicate in a university, the most important thing is gonna be your talent. So sometimes people are afraid because of the language, because of English, but like, you don't have to have the strongest English skills to succeed in this industry.
That's the kind of profession, right? There's a lot of things that's way more important than your English, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's your talent for drawing, and if you have that, I can tell you there's no better place to go in the world than Canada, especially Vancouver, because the industry here, it's really strong. I would say another place that has such a strong industry is US. But if you want to immigrate, like, to one of those countries, Canada tends to be, like, a way more flexible immigration process and things like that. So I can tell you that you're coming to the best place in the world to do animation course, to enter this field of job, this field of work, right? It's really strong, right?
Yeah, no, you get to do amazing things here. It's I think that if you were to choose a place where you can work in animation, Vancouver is one of the best places in the world.
For sure. Thank you so much, Christian. Let's invite everybody. I'm going to speak a little bit of Portuguese here now,
yes,
okay?
For sure.
Então, pessoal, isso que eu estou fazendo aqui com o Christian é uma pontinha de informações sobre uma profissão muito forte na cidade de Vancouver, um curso excelente, alguns cursos, né, que a Capilano oferece, uma instituição que tem um nome muito forte no mundo inteiro quando o assunto é animação, filme, game e tudo mais. E é um prazer, eles vão estar junto com a gente no Canadá Summit, que é um evento 100% online e gratuito para você aprender tudo aquilo que você necessita para vir para o Canadá estudar. Você vai ter a participação da Capilano durante o evento, com sua apresentação, uma sessão de dúvidas que você vai poder perguntar ao representante da Capilano as dúvidas que você tiver sobre a instituição de ensino. Vamos ter a participação de mais de 20 das principais instituições privadas e públicas do Canadá, e também você vai ter acesso a uma biblioteca de vídeos incrível que a 3RA preparou para você. Você vai conhecer diversas instituições de ensino por dentro, você vai ver entrevistas com profissionais de diversas áreas, contando como entraram no mercado de trabalho no Canadá, a questão de aluguel de imóveis no Canadá, aposentadoria e muita coisa. O Canadá Summit é mais de um ano de pesquisa, né? Você vai ter ali do conforto da sua casa, de maneira gratuita, né? Para você ali em 2 dias de evento, depois você tem 7 dias para você absorver toda essa biblioteca de vídeos da 3RA, com certeza será um divisor de águas do seu projeto Canadá. A equipe vai colocar em algum lugar desse vídeo o link, é só acessar 3ra.ca/summit, se inscrever, eu e nosso, ou Christian, ou, né, o Christian is going to be you or either Vanessa, right, with us in the event, but we're going to have someone from Capilano, you're going to see the Capilano presentation, right? É muito importante que você participe do evento para tocar o seu projeto Canadá de uma maneira eficiente e econômica. Então, participe, só acessar 3ra.ca/summit. Christian, muito obrigado, meu amigo.
Muito obrigado, Francisco.
Eu sei que você entende português, então estou falando inglês aqui com você, porque não tem jeito, mas a despedida a gente pode despedir em português, né?
Sim, eu posso entender.
Obrigado, Christian. Um abraço enorme e até o evento. Tchau, tchau. Obrigado.
Tchau.
Você que está assistindo, se inscreva agora mesmo, 3ra.ca/summit.